Welcome back to the Cult Products podcast. In today's episode, we have Dr. Damodar Sahu, the founder of Data Safeguard. Dr. Damo has a super interesting story. He's worked at some really big organizations and decided a couple of years ago to jump into founding a startup. I think one of the most interesting things about this conversation was really just how generous he is with his network. And he is absolutely incredible at building an audience, a following, a network, whatever you want to call it, where, he really is able to develop meaningful relationships with people at scale. And obviously, as the founder of a startup, that is a super, super valuable thing to learn. You'll be amazed at the number of LinkedIn followers he has, I'm sure. And he's going to talk a little bit about how he got to that point, as well as talking all about privacy and trust in an increasingly AI-driven world and all of the ambitious stuff that they are doing at Data Safeguard. Really lovely guy. Really enjoyed this conversation. I think you will too. So let's get stuck in. Hi, Dr. Damodar Sahu. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. It's a real pleasure to have you on. So welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm truly delighted to be here.
Great. I wondered if we could start at the top of the show, because you've got such an interesting background. If we could maybe just hear a little bit about your origin story and what brought you to become the founder of your business.
Absolutely. My name, I'm Damodar Sahu, go with Damo. I'm co-founder and chief growth officer at Data Safeguard. And Data Safeguard is the world's #1 unified privacy automation platform powered by our patented AI/ML engine called Cognizable Computing Engine, CCE, built on responsible and ethical AI. The mission is very clear: to safeguard the privacy of 8 billion people on Earth. With that mission, our team, including founding team and all our leaders, have a single mission to make this company grow, not only for business, even for a social impact. The reason being, every 39 seconds, there is a data breach happening in this world. And it is known, starting from large company to startup, if any data breach happens, how it impacts the individuals doing business with those enterprises and the company, right? And then the data breaches are actually leading to synthetic fraud, and synthetic frauds are leading to financial crime, that is including digital scams. And if I tell you the figure, annually, the entire world, mostly the government and the banking and financial organizations, they lose close to 3 trillion loss because of this financial crime. So mission is very clear: to safeguard our all citizens' personal, sensitive and non-sensitive data. So that's why Data Safeguard is born 4.5 years ago in Santa Clara, California. And yeah, we are on a mission and we are growing and expanding. So pleasure to be here, and we'll talk about more about what we do, how you do, and the impact on society.
$3 trillion is obviously a huge number, and data breaches are one of those things that, you hear about these things in the news. They're not trivial matters. They can have a huge reputational loss. I can see why it's a huge problem that you wanted to solve. But if we go back one step in your career, you are working for a large consultancy, and you've had a long career working in lots of different industries. What on earth possessed you to go from the relative comfort and security of that business into starting your own thing? What lit that passion in you?
Yeah, so I came to US through Wipro, largest consulting and IT services company, headquartered in New York in US and in India in Bangalore. Yeah, so I led or handled a couple of profiles, including digital sales, domain and consulting, partner ecosystem, right? Partner ecosystem, it means a best field to be in, where you get a chance to meet with your partners, clients, as well. You need to collaborate with the global audience, no? And though I am into tech over a decade, but always somewhere in my mind, I used to always think, how we can actually give back to society. And that is always in mind to get to something which will create a large impact, not only in your own city or county or state or country, but at a global scale, at a global level. That's why when during pandemic, when a few of our like-minded people were discussing during 2020, right, this idea came, and then I joined the team later after leaving my corporate profile. And prior to that, I was in India, many cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, and Mumbai, Bhubaneswar. That is my native town. And being from a very middle class family, the intuition or the willingness to do more and giving back to society was always there from my childhood. So that has actually triggered me to join Data Safeguard team. And and the rest is the story. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I mean, I think altruism and that kind of passion to give something back is a great motivator. And I'm sure there's been lots of ups and downs on the journey, but having that at the core of, your reason for doing this, I'm sure helps you to keep pushing through with those things. Tell me a little bit about what that journey's been like. So you're a couple of years into this. What have you found has been, what's been different from working in a large organization? What have the surprises been? Just tell me a little bit about the journey so far.
Absolutely. I started way back in 1996, very crowded city in Mumbai, like the New York of the US, right? And that early mover or your early career teaches you, how the ethics, resilience, and always be on track. And since the beginning of my career, I'm so fortunate that I got so many leaders who supported me during my intern to a full-time job. They put me on market, though I was a engineer, basically for banking and automation industry products, going to banks, installing all those currency counting machines, checkbook dispenser, ATM machines, right, and postal franking machine. Those days automation was very new. I'm talking about the Y2K, right, before 2000, yeah. And that has actually taught me, how to maintain a professional relationship, how always you should be optimistic in this corporate world, and how we can actually jump the ladder, in pyramid, in corporate, right? So that needs a lot of patience, and you have to have, you have to be always ahead of the curve and understand what is happening in this world and give back to the corporate as well as to your customer with whom you are doing business. Then I move around. I always say that don't fix yourself, be mobile. If you get a chance to move to a different city, to different role, a higher role, never ever say no. That exactly happened. Coming to US was also not in my list. It just happened. So Mumbai to Bhubaneswar to Hyderabad and to Delhi, Bangalore, they're all big city. And Bangalore too, I just landed in California, Silicon Valley, where I got exposed to a lot of startup ecosystem, being part of Wipro and Wipro Digital. Then I moved to Detroit during recent pandemic and to lead a growth office in the chief growth office of Wipro. And so just to answer you in short, we all have to be very, very optimistic and be there, and ethics plays a major role. And I always believe in doing more, keeping my integrity always high.
That's amazing. I mean, you strike me as somebody who's just very open and very driven by your personal values. I'm curious, this conversation around ethics, around data, in a world where AI is evolving super, super rapidly, and we're seeing all sorts of data being ingested by models to train them and keep that forward momentum, keep the innovation going at kind of breakneck pace. Surely that must now have really evolved into something overwhelmingly complex. How are you now starting to change how you're thinking about ethics, given everything that's happened over the past couple of years?
It's a great question, and I am into privacy, or a privacy evangelist, right? And my company is purely focusing on privacy, data privacy, right? And the AI coming, right? And I will also talk about the AI, and the AI, which is on responsible and ethical AI, right? Again, all put together: ethics, responsible, supervised, right? Learning, not open ChatGPT or the LLM, right? We have custom. I'll talk about it about the product and the usage little later. But to answer you, yes, most of the time I talk about privacy is no longer secrecy, right? I mean, it should be a trust, and the business organization or individual, people trust you. That's why they come to you, right? And as an individual or a society, and the enterprise, it can be bank, insurance, right? Healthcare, telecom, right? People go there because they trust that brand, right? And the trust is where you as an individual or a customer or a citizen of a city or county or a state, right? And if they safeguard your private information, it can be your personally identifiable information, maybe social security number, your credit card, your address, email, phone, or your protected health information. These are super critical. Our health records are super critical, right? Maintained by the healthcare agencies or insurance, right? And your personal finance information. If you are a LLC or INC or a corporate, right? Your finance informations are very, very right. If those agency enterprises keep it safe and give you a guarantee that your all personal, sensitive, non-sensitive information are well protected, and there is a regulatory agency, let's say for HIPAA, for healthcare, NIST, and we have, let's say, GDPR, California Consumer Protection Act, right? And now the AI Act has come up, EU AI Act, US has AI Act, right? If based on the regulation, if any agency or enterprise or government tell you, okay, your all personal information are well protected, then our confidence with that government or city or enterprise will become more, right? So that is where we see the unified privacy automation is not there at this moment. That's why we built. There are many companies or OEMs supporting, but they are all silo, fragmented, and to keep safeguard of our personal information, they use many products or many tools or application. But ours is all unified and powered by our patented, AI built on responsible and ethical platform. So that is the difference we talk about. And we all know that privacy matter, and we do business or we do transaction mostly on digital way. So it's a digital economy, right? Digital trust, right? So all put together, if I come back, then we have been hearing since our childhood, privacy matters, it matters. One data piece can shut down the entire company, and because of the reason, the consumers or the people doing business with that company will lose trust in that company if any data breach happens.
Yeah, I mean, we talk to a lot of CISOs, and that idea of trust, but trust that is also directly linked to revenue keeps coming up time and time again. As soon as you lose that, it's very, very difficult, I think, to shake that reputation as somebody who has potentially lost data in the past. I know from my side, when you see warnings coming up in, 1Password or somewhere like that, and says, "Oh, you should change this password because this data has been breached." It feels like an increasingly common problem, and I personally, just as a consumer, will take a look at that company and say, "Oh God, I kind of hate you now." But I personally don't feel like I'm that much in control of this, because you have to give up so much data to just exist in the modern world. How are you thinking about that? And perhaps how does that kind of tie into that more ethical side of things, the altruism that you founded the business around? What is it that you're doing that's really kind of bringing that to life?
Most enterprises today, they operate 20, 30 separate privacy-related tools or applications, but we call it platform. Because once you build a platform, then there will be a vertical application, right? So let's say we start with, consent system, your consent management, your cookie management, preference management, or let's say vendor assessment, or let's say your privacy impact assessment, where the big four consulting guys come and do it, right? That takes weeks and months. And your data mapping, that is important. So in any case, our personal informations are moving across the enterprise ecosystem, and they don't have any clarity that where exactly the sensitive and non-sensitive informations are lying across systems. It can be downstream, maybe third-party vendor must have, or their internal tech team or the QA team or the sandbox team, right? They must have taken the personal information, doing some work, right? All these informations lies there. With help of the responsible or ethical AI, which is under supervised learning, that means what? It learns on its own with the synthetic data, not on public data, right? In that case, let's say if accuracy is, 10%, tomorrow it will be 15, 20. It goes on, because self-learning, and it's a supervised learning. With that case, what happened in our case, we made universal consent or unified consent management. So let's say I signed with a consent with you today. Yes, I'm coming to the podcast and talk to you, right? And let's say while talking in a flow, for an example, I have discuss or disclose something sensitive which audience may not like, or maybe I disclose some companies or some person's name by oversight, right? So quickly, if you are using our system, I can quickly go and on real time, I can go and say, hey, this information, can you please delete it? Because I have all rights to erase, delete, modify, right? I'm just giving example, but that can be in bank, like we are doing with any bank, right? Or healthcare, retail, telecom, even applicable to even government, right? Then the second one's coming, let's say data subject access request, right? And a lot of employee, they leave the organization, right? Then they want some information. Hey, where are my full and final settlement? I'm just giving an example. Or where are this paycheck or some information I want to get it, right? It takes weeks and months for the organization to go back. But as we have done all the confidential data discovery and we did the mapping, classification, so within few minutes or hour, they can actually respond back to that request. So we address end-to-end privacy powered by our AI ML engine, which is, I told you, patented, starting from consent to confidential data discovery to privacy impact assessment. This will give a gap analysis, risk scoring of that particular organization. And once we classify or do data mapping, then we do the confidential data redaction. This is super duper critical, and this is the unique proposition. Once you redact those information not required, then after that, if any data breach happens, then there won't be any impact on the data breach, because all the sensitive informations are already redacted before the data breach happens. Then comes to the compliance audit. because we have got at this moment, I think 144 countries have privacy law, started with GDPR, we all know that, and it's ever evolving, right? And so this will keep a tap on what are the landscape changing in terms of privacy law or AI Act, and based on that, our system is configured so that it will give you an idea at what level you are compliant with respect to the respective law. It can be GDPR, it can be HIPAA, it can be California CCP or CPRA. And the responsible AI you talk about, because we don't use any LLM or any public thing. It's all self-learning and on synthetic data. And at this moment, if I tell you our accuracy rate of this AI ML engine going, identifying, mapping, classifying, and redaction is close to 99.54%. So it's amazing. None of our competitor at this moment has this unified privacy automation platform. So they have, but it's all fragmented, silo, and the accuracy rate is far below 50%, where we are at 99.54%.
Well, congratulations. That's an amazing result. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing so much of the detail on the product side of things. I wonder if you wouldn't mind, we maybe zoom out a little bit. So, as well as being co-founder, a big part of your role is linked to revenue within the business. For the other founders that are listening to this podcast, it'd be really interesting to know if you could just tell me a little bit about how did you go about getting those first customers through the door?
Being a founder, if you are early stage or growth stage, right? Mostly, applicable to early stage where you have raised money, but maybe from angels, families, right? Friends, or maybe, seed. Always be optimistic what you are doing and be a strong believer. And of course, before you are doing, I'm sure you must have done the market analysis and benchmarking, of course, that stealth mode, you have done that. So that's why we created a company and we are doing something. It can be product, it can be services. Please be focused on
that optimism, presumably, you need to have that optimism because a lot of people are going to be slamming doors in your face for a little while.
That helps, that helps. I mean, you have to be there. Don't leave, right? I mean, be there always and fine tune.
You have to really believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-belief is the best belief we can say, right? And just to answer you, try to find out your design partner initially. If you are just build something, but let's say you cannot go to a large enterprise to use your product. Before that, you test the product with your near and dear who can actually use this product as a beta version or a MVP, minimum viable version product or services, and give you all the early feedback or early warning, right? And don't ask anything. Let's say I'm your friend, reach out to me. Hey, Damo, can you please use this product? This product is for this purpose and just use it. Give me feedback. Nothing to worry. Of course, don't disclose the architecture. Don't give the secret sauce, right? But try to let him be used and try to find out a couple of and make them as a part of your design team. That means they are willingness to share feedback while they use and get benefit. This is one. You need to quickly find out. It can be a small bank or a credit union, or can be a small startup in health tech or a retail tech or fintech. I'm just giving an example, right? Let them use and give feedback. Then second.
And were they all people that you knew previously, or did you, did you go out and look for people? Interesting. How do you know they're going to give you honest feedback? Because, if they're, friends and family and near and dear, as you put it, how can you make sure that they're going to tell you what they really think instead of what they think you want to hear?
No, great question. So that's why you have to latch on to your personal connect. Let's say I trust you, Philip, right? And we have been doing business or professional relationship, or maybe you are my ex-colleague at some enterprise, a customer, right? Or client, colleague, whatever you call it, right? If I trust you, of course, we will sign a small NDA that will protect both the organizations, right? Secrecy. And in that, you have to identify where you can go and trust. And you are not alone. You should have your co-founders as well. Somebody is good in marketing, somebody is good in, let's say, product or technology, right? Normally what happens, the technologies are becoming CEO, but they don't have any clue where to go, where to find out, right? A client. You shouldn't be a lone warrior, right? You should invite people to join you, give them equity, give them the designation based on their market or skill, right? So that you are 2-3 people going and pitching to a customer and making them a design partner. So initial sales should be founder-led sales till you raise money. So there is no shortcut. All the founding team, they have to go and sell. Just like we do, starting from lead generation, calling to or sending a cold email, right? A GTM, right? You have to do that. Once you do, you will get to know while talking to the real customer whether you are really on your path or you need to do something. If you want to fail fast. So that again, get up. Once you fail fast, get up and take all those feedback and go back to your war room or drawing room or whiteboarding, whatever you want to do it. Then quickly, come back with the revised product or solutions or services. Again, go back to the customer. Hey, customer, based on your feedback, I have made this. Can you use and give feedback? So if once you do it, you will get to know and you are confident, oh, my product is good. Then talk to a lot of analysts. Analysts, they come at a cost, but a lot of analysts, they are willing to support you at free of cost. I'm talking all the big analysts. Even there are a lot of medium and small time market research analysts. They will support you at free.
Is that as a channel to get design partners or as a channel to get actual paying customers?
No, I'm not come to the actual paying customer. These market research analysts, they will give you a lot of market insight, how you stand among your competitors. And there are a lot of good people, humans in this world working in those companies. They will come and give you guidance, both offline as well as online, right? That will again boost your morale and help you to go to a paying customer. Before you go to paying customer, you have all these experience. You can proudly say, XYZ is my design partner. And I have been recognized by analyst, right? Then you can name them, take permission and name them. And you say that I have 10 design partners, maybe one cooperative bank or maybe a regional bank, right? In one state, right? You can give reference because by the time they are using and they are your referral, right? So it will help you to go to a large enterprise. It can be bank, insurance, whatever, right? Business they do, right? If it is B2B. And of course, B2C is a different...
So you're talking about social proof there, which, is obviously a big factor in persuading somebody to take a chance on you. If they can see other logos of other businesses that you're working with, testimonials from other design partners, those kind of things, it gives you that credibility. I think that's a real inflection point in a business, because when you have that and you can put it in a deck and you can stand in front of people and say, in your case, look at this bank, probably the highest level of trust that can possibly be required. We've achieved this with a bank, with healthcare, highly regulated industries. That gets you over the line there. But I just want to jump back a second, because I think your advice around every co-founder has to sell from day one is really important. And I love the way that you framed that, as it's not just a case of, look, this has to be all hands on deck, we have to get customers. Actually, it's also about, if you're going to build a good product and a good business, you just have to be out there talking to customers yourselves. You can't be detached from them. You need to be having those kind of interactions. Now, for you, you've come from a background where you're selling anyway. I imagine there were probably some big differences selling at an established organization versus a startup. And I'm curious what those were. And I also would assume that potentially not all of your co-founders have come from a sales background, and there might have been some challenges there. That was a bit of a learning experience. If you were sat in front of another founder saying to you, I've never sold before, what would your advice be? What are the fundamentals that they need to get their head around to be successful?
Absolutely. I always say, your question is very valid. And of course, a lot of people, they feel that they are not seller. But I always say, crying baby gets milk.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that one, Damo.
So I always say, you have sold in your whole life from the day one to till date. You may be a chief product officer, chief technology officer, right? Or chief financial officer, or chief legal officer. Unless until you sold something, then how come you got that title? And before you're chief legal officer or chief compliance officer, you must be a compliance manager or director of compliance. How did you get into that role? That means you have sold yourself. Now, you being part of the startup, you are building something good. So same thing, you have to go and talk about what you are building or talk about what you built to your friends and family. We are not saying and go to president of the US or president of the world and sell it. No, you go to your own close circle and tell, hey, Damo, Will, I have built this. And you say with very pride and that you have built something. So that passion to the whole world. And it doesn't mean that people all will buy, but people will come and see what you have built. And most of the people, they may not give feedback, but one or two people will come and give you a good feedback. Take that good feedback and use it for betterment. So that will actually help you to build a better product or solutions. The moment you are confident, then you can go any place and talk about your product very proudly. And that shows that yes, this founder and the co-founder or the CTO, CPO or whatever, right, you call them, they see a passion. And a lot of early stage customers, they see the passion in the founding team rather than what they built. Oh my God, these guys are super passionate about this product. I should use them. And over a period of time also they will understand, they will, cope up the situation and they make a better product. Then a lot of investors will also come and join, seeing the passion, not only what you have mission, vision or market. They see this guy's background is very neat and clean, and whatever he has a vision to build this company to $1 billion company, let's say by 5 years, 10 years, whatever, let me come and invest. So you will get an investor as well as a customer.
There's a bit of a theme emerging here. I want to try and just pull this together a little bit. The first thing I think is you've been very clear. You're going to need to be optimistic and proud of the product that you're trying to build. I think that is super important. It's where resilience comes from. It's also how you build confidence. I think there's a muscle memory thing. Almost, the more you say this to friends, to family, and build in feedback and those kind of things, the more natural you get at it, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you become. And you're not the first person who has said, think about yourself. Everybody is selling every day, in work, in your personal life, in all these different places. And I think for a lot of people, there's a imposter syndrome, if you want to call it that, around sales that flares up. But I think just to come back to why this stuff matters, that point about everybody, when you found a business, needs to get out there and sell, because you need to be taking that feedback from potential customers, I think is really, really, really important. I want to go, we've talked about the journey a little bit. So, design partners and, I think in every business that we've ever worked with, design partners are a key part of the story. You get those on board, you get to the point where you can then move from, I guess, more of the vision selling, the relationship selling, to a credibility place. We say, look, we've deployed this, we've got feedback, we're building it with these people. Then I guess it just becomes easier, and you can start those conversations and things. What I'd love to know from you, with your experience, is there's a million different ways that you can go and market your business, and there are events and adverts and social media and all of those kinds of things. What works?
So once you have a couple of your early stage customer or design partner, then you are super confident that yes, your product will click in the market. So I suggest don't spend more on marketing and branding. Try to find out, if you are a B2B player, right? So find out a partner, maybe a boutique partner, maybe a small time system integrator sitting next to your door. He may be selling to MSME market, medium and small or micro customers. If the product is fitting to those clients, bring the partner ecosystem into play. Because alone, I can go and talk to 10 people. If I have a 10 partner, they will talk to 100 people. People means customer. So try to find out those early partners, those who believe in your mission, vision, and product. They will go and talk to hundreds of customers on your behalf. Now, of course, you have to have your partnership, and if you want to resell, let them resell, get the resell revenue, or if you're a teaming partner or a referral partner. Referral partner, give them some kind of annual recurring revenue if you are into subscription billing, pricing, right? So give them the benefit, take into your ecosystem, partner ecosystem. That is one. Then you have to do a lot of noise, especially in professional network like LinkedIn. I'm just giving an example, right? So exactly you have been doing, but now
a lot of noise. There's definitely a lot of noise on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good noise. I mean to say a sound or music. Good music, right? I mean, people will love to listen, hear, watch, right? So in that also you have been doing so far. Then you invite the thought leaders from your existing design partner who are willing to come and talk about you. They may not promote you directly, but put some kind of awareness or thought leadership session without promoting your product, right? If I'm representing Data Safeguard, I'm talking to, that means I'm already representing and promoting my company, right? And so pull those people. Also, some advisors, investors, right? And you see few guys retired as a, let's say, CIO of a bank or the chief compliance officer of a healthcare organization, right? Or a government organization, they have already retired, right? Or a veteran who understands your domain. Take them as your executive advisor or senior advisor, give them some equity and ask them, you spend only 1 hour in a month and guide us, and take them to those public events and ask them to talk about what you are doing. So partner, I mean, your partner ecosystem, it can be SI partner, it can be your resell partner, right? I mean, they can be your referral partner. If somebody can refer and you will refer and watch how you are closing. Then once deal is closed, pay him some amount, right? Similarly, once you do it, then of course the moment you are raising some fund, then you have that wealth power to hire people for marketing, branding, as well as sales.
I love the fact that you're constantly looking, it feels, to bring great people together to help you build this business, and not afraid to kind of share the upside as well, and the equity and those kind of things. And I suppose that's a good segue into. I know a lot of founders would look at the number of followers that you have on LinkedIn, and they'd be very envious. How have you built that following, and what's the value of it to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, so great question. So I always say LinkedIn started in 2003 when I was in India. So I was one of the early LinkedIn professional. Yeah. And since then, I am always on constant on LinkedIn. Usage, putting my point of view, connecting with professionals, right? And all my, I think close to 40,000 followers, they all are organic. That means more or less, I know them. Either I met them in person or I connected them virtually. So organic followers has a different ballgame altogether. That means what? They will like you, they will give you feedback, and they will be also your partner in crime. If you are doing something, raising money, let's say if you want to say something, hey, yeah, so they will be, in one word, they will be partner in crime, right? And once you reach that 30,000 limit of direct connection, right, then a lot of people will follow, and that followers may be unknown to you, right? So founders, don't ignore LinkedIn. That is your first step to marketing.
Now, Derry, you've got so many connections. I, in advance of this podcast, can't even connect with you. It's one in, one out now, which is pretty incredible. Surely you can't know 40,000 people, though. That's incredible. I don't think I've met 40,000 people in my life.
Yes. So I don't know. I mean, 2003 to 2025, close to 22 years in LinkedIn, and many cities, many companies, many countries I visited, work. So yeah. And in fact, last weekend, people call me connected Damo or Damodar. What does it mean? They say that I am connected with a lot of people. That's why they call me connected Damodar. So I have a physical ledger and digital ledger. I normally note down to whom I met today. So I'll put your name and ma'am's name today, right? So I was looking at, I met close to 60,000 people so far.
All in the ledger.
These are mostly professionals where I actually met them one-on-one and interacted globally. I have not adding people I'm meeting in flight or railway station or a bus stop or in a wedding. So that is not added. And out of 8 billion people, only if I meet 60,000 people, nothing. Right? So what I mean to say, yeah, we have got only one life in this wonderful world. So let's use it. Meet people, talk to people. Envy or why jealous, nothing. It's a wonderful world. I mean, good, bad things are part of the life. So we need to just move on, ignore or forget and move on.
I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, apart from the advice to have started building your professional network 20 years ago, which I think we're a few years away from time machines, hopefully. There's something really interesting in your approach. I mean, most people would say, well, how do I scale this? How do I automate it? How do I make it an entirely digital relationship? How do I think about quantity of connections over quality of connections? It sounds like you're taking the opposite approach, and it's more about these are real people that I've built a real connection with, met in person, and yet somehow there are still 40,000 people connected to you. I can't quite wrap my mind around it. Maybe if we just kind of break it down and said, if you're starting from scratch today, you've just created your LinkedIn profile, what are some other practical things that you, as a founder of a business, need to be doing to kind of get where you are?
Yeah, I'll give you very high level. Yeah, just be there, put a professional photo, talk about your headline should talk about who we are, what you do, and why are you doing. Who you are, what you do, and why are you doing. Is there any benefit to the society? Clearly mention, right? Then of course, talk about you as a person and your background, your qualification, your past experience, right? And if you are associated with anything, certification, right? All those put it. Then go back to your company and very short and sweet put it, what exactly you are building or you built, and who all are the users and how you stand tall among your competitors, right? Your peers, right? And give that value so that people will come and look at and they will like it and they will either follow or they will send you a LinkedIn connect. And each and every connect matters, right? And if somebody is reaching out to you, ensure that you respond back. Somebody is reaching. It can be somebody reach out to you for a job. Like, hey, you build something, I'm jobless, can I join your company? So never ever ignore that also, the job seeker. The job seeker today may become your investor tomorrow. The job seeker today may be a C-suite executive for tomorrow. So never ever ignore if somebody is jobless and he will be jobless forever. Not like that. It's all the touch point we need to build as a founder. Respond empathetically, right? Okay, sure, stay in touch, right? I'm just building, I have not raised money. So, but I will refer you to a couple of my corporate friends. That help, right? And since it's not a one-way traffic, right? I mean, you have to also reach out to people. Like that job seeker has reached out to you, also reach out to potential investor, right? Customer, partner. Also, you also look at your future employee as well as your co-founder. If you are alone, if you want to professionals come and join you, also you need to reach out. So it should be both way. Yeah, give and take, I always say, not take and give. First you give, then you take.
Great advice. Generally, I think when we think about marketing, we think about trying to engage people with a business, it's always better to start off with just giving something of actual value to people, and whether that's like a guide that you're asking people's emails from, or you're doing, webinars or those kind of things. Just start with the first principle is, this isn't about me getting their email address and selling to them. It's just about me giving them something that is genuinely valuable to them in whatever it is that they're trying to achieve in the world. I think that, that thread of altruism across everything that you've spoken about today is really important. I do like to say altruism works a lot better than marketing.
One thing I missed to update, also have a vision to giving back to society. Put that social cause. It's not only business earning dollar, right? Or euro. So what is the mission behind your social influence, or what exactly you are giving back to society? Let's say you say 5% of the profit goes to healthcare, or let's say underprivileged today, right? Or you are doing something for seniors, assisted living, right? How you are assisting senior citizens, or maybe childcare, or maybe to support underprivileged whatever category, right? So something also, it should be part of your mission. So people also go look at your website or your LinkedIn profile, your mission, vision, and either you call it corporate social responsibility, or you call it, I branded it as a personal social responsibility. Corporate will have a corporate, they have millions, billions dollar of rupees, right? But you being startup, you have to have some kind of startup social responsibility, or you call it personal social responsibility. People will come and, oh my God, he's not only doing business, he's doing this. And that will actually help you to get into the radar of, if they are selecting few partners or product company, they will put you on top, because you are out of $5 or $1 you earn, 5 cents goes to something which is a social cause. So that also I think we should do, and proudly declare and keep the books separately. And what you talk, you should actually do it, right? I mean, walk the talk, right? So then only, I mean, it's a word of mouth, right? Like a wildfire. If you are doing this, and I will go and talk to 5 people, the 5 people will go and talk to 25 people, 25 to 125, it goes on.
That's a good segue maybe to come back to data safeguards and talk about maybe, so, we restarted this conversation talking about altruism. Let's bring it back to that. So when you've got some really punchy revenue goals, and that's the business side of things. When you think about the impact on the world and on society that you're aiming for, what's that in one line, and what are you doing to make that happen?
Absolutely. So we are on a growth path to become a $1 billion company by 2028. We are on track. We are at pre-series A, and that means we have already raised money. We are hiring people, hundreds of people, both in tech, non-tech, sales, marketing. And the mission is very clear. As per the recent analyst report, if we don't safeguard our personal information, 5 billion people out of 8 billion people will be impacted due to data breach in next 5 years. And 5 million enterprises globally, they will be impacted because of data breaches. And we have seen a couple of few. This company over 5 billion, 6 billion, DNA company in California got shut down. One database immediately after pandemic, now they filed bankrupt. And many startups and mid-sized company, even large-sized company getting shut down because of database, right? And so with that mission, we are here to support public sector, government, cities, enterprise, mid to large, even startup, right? How we can actually safeguard their consumers' data in a very secure manner. Even though the cyber criminals will be super duper intelligent than us, even though the data breach happens, so our aim is to minimize the data breach impact. As I told you in our product, right? We will redact all those information before the data breach happens, so that they will get the junk data. They can't identify me as a Damodar Sahu or you as a Phill Keaney, right? So that is the mission we have other than the business. Of course, as we are growing, we are hiring people. We are creating jobs across globe. US, North America. We will be expanding to Europe, UK, Asia Pac. We have already presence in India, Middle East, right? We will go to Australia, New Zealand, Dubai, Singapore, right? Africa as well. It will be a growth country in future. So other than creating wealth, also we are creating job. And of course, the mission is very, very clear to safeguard consumers or the customers or the citizens, privacy. So privacy matters.
It's great to know that you've got those end users in mind. You've got my back. I always like to ask founders, because I think we get a wide range of different answers to this question, is if you could just go back in time to the day that you started the business, what advice would you now give yourself then that you didn't know at the time that you've realized over the past couple of years?
Oh, yeah, sure. Great question again. So optimistic is different, right? Though we're optimistic, but some of your mind or corner of your mind always say, hey, 1% doubt comes, right? Will it happen? Will it really happen? Can I make it? So in that case also, you should not have even 1% doubt in your mind or your mission vision, right? So from that day to these days, we are super duper confident that yes, we are making tractions, progress day by day. And I can say we are actually fast tracking our progress at this moment. Because we are at pre-series A, that means once we close series A, we'll hire hundreds of people, those who will work for the company. Of course, work for them as well, because we will hire a lot of C-suite, senior leaders, right? Across functions, line of business, globally. So then more or less, if I say, we will put the business on autopilot mode. So now it's all manual, like a flight taking off and landing is manual, right? Once it is up air, 30,000 feet, more or less pilot mode, autopilot mode, right? So every startup, you to ensure that after some time, once you raise money, have people, then put it at automated. So that you founding team or founders, co-founders, you will look for further adding line of business, further adding new product, right? So you are free to do those innovation and R&D, and the other C-suite or leadership, they will take your business from level 1 to level B. So 4-5 years, I think normally 5 years it takes for startups to come to the stage where you can put it on autopilot. I think we are blessed that we are at that level where we will progress and fly.
It's an amazing story so far, Darren, and thanks for sharing it. I'm sure it's going to be really, really interesting to see that growth, getting to that $1 billion company stage over the next couple of years. Perhaps we can chat again as you kind of get a bit further into the journey. But it's been amazing having you on today. Thank you for joining us. One last thing before we go, where can people connect with you, and who should reach out for a conversation with you?
Absolutely. I'm a public person. You just go and Google my name, Damodar Sahu, or put Dr. Damodar Sahu. My name will flash on LinkedIn. My photo, my all contact information, I will get it there. And please reach out to me, follow me, contact me, connect me. And so as I told you, every connection matters, every life matters, every person matters. So you are ensure that I will respond you back, and we will connect. We will have some nice conversations. And thank you, Phill and team, for having me on this show.
Amazing. Darren, such a positive end to the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Cult Products is brought to you by Yaya, helping cybersecurity companies define who they're for, what they do, and how they're different. To learn more, visit yaya.co. And don't forget to search for Cult Products in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Follow the show so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team at Yaya, thanks for listening.